Tom Downey here for Chat Sports. We are breaking down Dane Brugler's Summer Scouting 2025 quarterback rankings. I'll make note this is, of course, summer scouting, which means there's a whole year of things that can and will inevitably change. We've seen Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and more emerge. Who could it be this year? The top 5 are the players Brugler went more in depth on. I'll mention a couple notes from his stuff and then my own thoughts on it. Number 1 is Carson Beck, which I think is kind of the safe pick here. That is the Georgia quarterback. Dane put what he does best and what he needs to work on for each of these top 5 guys. It was middle of the field timing. I do like that a lot in Beck. I think that matters in the NFL. You got to hit that deep dig. If you can't hit that deep dig, you will not make it as an NFL starter. Look at Malik Willis. Must improve? I got to get more reps against pressure. Also fair because Georgia has a really good offensive line. So how you handle it when things aren't in structure is a bit of an uncertainty. I don't know if he has the greatest physical skill set, but I think had he been draft eligible, he probably would have been somewhere in the Bo Nix range. In fact, I think he would have gone before Bo Nix. I think Denver would have loved him, and Sean Payton would have loved him as well. So if you want more 2025 NFL draft videos, then like this one. Helps to show the bosses that you're a fan and you want to have more of it here on the channel. Number 2 is Shedeur Sanders. I forgot to mention the verified height weights. Beck is 6'4" and a quarter, 218. Looks skinny in that, but he's tall. Shedeur Sanders is 6'1" and a quarter, 198. That's verified weights from Dane. Got to add some mass there. I do think there were a lot of times he was able to make things happen under pressure. He was pressured a lot. He also forced some of that pressure, kind of a double-edged sword that Dane mentioned on his pros and cons section there. Get that ball quicker. I think there's a lot of stuff to like about Shedeur Sanders. This is not a clear top 5 pick, but I think he can become that if he plays well this year. To be quite honest, and this is not always fair, got to deal with the Sanders stuff, though. You have to lead a locker room, and tweeting about your teammate that you don't even remember and causing drama there is not going to go over well with NFL teams. No verified height weight for Quinn Ewers, estimated 6'2", 210 there. As Dane points out, what he does best, the arm talent's impressive. He can make every throw. I'll be honest. If we're doing flag football for and getting pro players in there, Quinn Ewers should be like the flag football QB, or that type of guy because he can do all these different arm angles and a quick release and has some arm power, arm strength to him. The downside is the footwork's a mess. I get it, and I think it leads to issues specifically going more downfield and missing throws. He has a lot of talent. There needs to be a lot of development. He could go from a first-round pick to, does he go back on the portal and struggles and they go to Arch Manning? There's a massive range of outcomes for Quinn Ewers. He could even be quarterback 1 in this year's class. Just depends on the growth. Who do you think will end up being QB1 in the 2025 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments of today's show. We'll stick in Texas. Connor Weigman out of A&M, who I've seen a lot of buzz for, and I understand parts of it. Estimated 6'3", 215 here from Dane. Does do a great job in the pocket. He has a good feel for maneuvering it. As Dane points out, he puts body of work on what he must improve. Yeah, he's played 9 games and was better this year. There's a but. Before I get fully on board with Connor Weigman and the flashes of talent that we see, I need to see him beat and play well against better teams. Look at the stark difference between Power 5 teams and non-Power 5 teams. We're talking a 20% completion rate difference. We're talking Heisman Trophy on the right. That's pretty bad on the left. So, which Connor Weigman is the real one? We'll find out this year. And I think he could rise. Or he could be it never quite materialized the way we thought it was going to. Number 5, and I was kind of surprised he was 5th on Dane's list. Allar out of Penn State, who Colin Cowherd said the clear-cut number 1 pick next year. That's not true, by the way. 6'4", 230. My slanderous comp is he is Gen Z Christian Hackenberg, which is very slanderous. But he's got the arm strength. He has the size. He made a couple of good throws against Ohio State. Also struggled at times. He doesn't turn the ball over very much, but he's not good against pressure. The Penn State offense struggled in every single big game that there were. There were some drops. Dane comped him to Will Levis. I don't know if he has the same athletic upside, but again, it's a not great quarterback class. There's room for growth on a lot of these guys. So who did Dane Brugler snub on his quarterbacks list? He only went top 5, least of the top 5. We'll get to some names here in a second, some good news on that front. Who did he snub? Let me know in the comments. And let's do is just pure top 5. Dane listed 10 underclassmen and 25 seniors we'll get to here, by the way. First up is Jalen Milroe. And right now, I would rather draft Jalen Milroe than Drew Allar. I like a lot of what Milroe offers. He's got a big arm. He's got athletic ability. He can move. He has to become better about attacking the middle of the field and being consistent with his reads. But the physical skill set is there. I am excited to see how he plays the upcoming year in an offense that I think fits him really well. He can throw the deep ball. The Huskies did that a lot. I love the number 5 inclusion here, one of my top sleepers, if there is such a thing in college football these days. Byron Brown out of South Florida. You're playing CFB 25. South Florida's a great G5 school still to pick because of Brown. Now, he was not good against Alabama in that almost upset. After that game, he played great. Almost 1,000 yards on the ground, 3,000 passing yards, 37 TDs, 11 INTs. There's high-end moments. A lot more consistency, as it is for most of these underclassmen, is still needed. Now, you can get the rookie jersey for your favorite player from last year's NFL draft class over at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. That's chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Everyone but Marvin Harrison is available over there. Again, that's chatsports.com/NFL jersey. In what is objectively hilarious, Kyron Drones is the first of 3 current or former Baylor quarterbacks on this list. He's, I think, the best of the bunch, too, by the way. I like his size a lot. There's good mobility. He played pretty darn well for Virginia Tech last year after taking over the starting job after a couple of games. Again, physical skill set's intriguing. I like him. I think there's a lot of development to go. Worth monitoring. Miller Moss put his name on the list with a really good bowl game. We will see if that continues or not. Not the biggest guy, but there's intrigue there. Baron Morton, one of 2 current or former Texas Tech quarterbacks on this list, who I also think might not be the best of the bunch there. He's at number 8. Noah Fafita is 5'10", 205. That is the estimated size, and he might be under 5'10". But he's fun. Again, this is kind of like your flag football Olympic QB. He makes a ton of plays on, I think, an unrated Arizona team. Just the size is going to be a detriment for some teams. Cade Klubnik out of Clemson has to be a lot better. Maybe the breakout happens, but if it doesn't, Clemson is potentially in trouble, by the way, with just not having a functional enough offense. Now, we will have more NFL videos for you guys here every single day. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. So senior QBs, 25 names. We'll go quick. Beck, Shedeur, Sanders makes sense there. Riley Leonard out of now Notre Dame is number 3 on this list. He's a good athlete. Needs to show growth as a pure passer. I was a little surprised he was number 3 on this list. I had some other guys I like a little bit more. A lot of verified sizes here too, because the seniors tend to have that more often. 6'3" and change, 221, so good size there. Jaxson Dart is a tough one for me. When it is working, when it is on structure, or when it is on time, Jaxson Dart's really good. He's accurate. The arm is there. He's got some mobility. When it's off, when it's out of structure, when things aren't right, I haven't seen Dart consistently make enough plays. Got a good frame, though, almost 6'2", 225. I have accused in years past offenses like Lane Kiffin of being a Mickey Mouse offense because it works. It makes it tough on an NFL eval perspective. It's great for college, though. Number 5 is Cam Ward, who I might flip with Leonard, maybe. He's tough for me. I have a tough time with Cameron Ward. 6'2", 224, so thicker build despite being shorter. He can air it out. He will drive you insane sometimes with the out-of-structureness that he tends to rely on. He was great in the first half for Washington State, and then he fell apart last year. In many ways, Cam Ward and his play will determine if he's in the Heisman conversation, which I think is possible, if the Hurricanes are in the CFP conversation, or if Mario Cristobal might get fired. I won't lie to you guys, I have not watched much of Seth Henigan. Dane had him at 6. Surprised by that one. I'll have to do some digging on him. Graham Mertz at 7. I don't think he's very good. I'm sorry. I have seen too much inconsistency outside of play action. He can run a play action-based offense. I think he'd be a backup in the NFL. But I think elevating non-play action stuff I wasn't very high on. Will Howard, almost 6'4", 240, so some good size there. From Kansas State to Ohio State, although Avery Johnson, not draft eligible, I kind of think was going to kind of just take that job to an extent. But I know Senior Bowl had a 4th-round grade on Howard. That's noteworthy. The one that might surprise some people is Donovan Smith. He is a sleeper. He's 6'4", 237. There are flashes of great play and flashes of not very good play. When he plays great, Texas or Houston wins. When he doesn't play well, it's a disaster. So it's a very common refrain for me. Get your consistency figured out here, boys. You do that, and they'll be in much better shape. This is the 3rd straight year we have talked about Tyler Van Dyke. That is not a good thing. He is now at Wisconsin. I am not falling for the Tyler Van Dyke trap this because I liked him 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, this could be a big year for him. He was bad. And they started the year good last year, and then it fell apart. I ain't falling for no banana in the tailpipe this time. In what is viewed as a not great quarterback class, how many QBs go in round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Jalen Daniels out of Kansas is going to be fun this year. He's going to be electric. He might be in the Heisman conversation. I think 11 could end up being too low for him if he can stay healthy and showcase more typical drop-back passing stuff. Mark Gronowski out of South Dakota State, 6'2" and change, 235. I have not watched him. A good buddy of mine has. Says there's some stuff to like about it, kind of a weird motion. Good name to monitor. Kyle McCord. Who would say he's a senior? Feels like he's a sophomore, right? Out of Syracuse, the Ohio State transfer. I know how you Buckeyes fans feel about him. Dylan Gabriel. Now, I think there's a lot to unpack here. Because I like Gabriel as a passer. He was a dog at Oklahoma. He was a gamer. That Red River rivalry game, the shootout, he was awesome. He won that game for Oklahoma. Now he's at Oregon. He'll put up big numbers. He's also old. I don't know if he has the physical skill set to hang as a true starter. And he's 5'10 and a half, 201. He's not very big. You can tell how bad the quarterback class is here. Curtis Work, Ohio to Indiana transfer. I don't think he's very good. I like Brett Gabbert more, but that's also me being a homer. KJ Jefferson now at Central Florida. How about this for the verified size? Ready? 6'3", 261. Oh, man, it's a tight end. In fact, that's like a defensive end. That's huge. And he plays like it, too. DeQuan Finn, another Baylor quarterback. There's one of 2, although he's transfer. 6'1", 209. DJ Uiagalelei, who kind of rehabbed his stock at Oregon State. He kind of ran an offense that benefited him. Listed at 6'4", 255. Another big boy. I actually don't think Brady Cook is that good. I think he is a Luther Burden merchant, so he should be at 19. Cameron Rising, who is eligible for he's an 8th year, I think it is, or 7th year. I don't know. He's like 50. At Utah, I don't think he's going to be an NFL player. Grayson McCall, remember we were talking about him? He's just not the most physically gifted guy. Now at NC State, transferred from Coastal Carolina. Garrett Green is sub 5'11", 198. We make a big deal about height. If you're under 200 pounds, the success rate is like kind of non-existent. Gary Bohannon, another former Baylor quarterback, now at BYU. Hudson Card, now at Purdue. Look at all this is just the transfer portal list, right? And Haynes King at Georgia Tech now.